All right. Welcome back, people. We're back in the studios again.
Yeah.
United Podcast, episode 28.
Yes, sir.
Last episode was live. It was a very good experience. It felt good meeting the brothers outside, still keeping the social distancing.
That was a blast.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So today, like I said, we're in the studios. Back to where we started. It also feels good, right? And today's topic is going to be one that I think everybody has been talking about it lately. It's a very, very common expression. And the way we like to do it today is, the first part we're going to talk about, what that expression is. And then the second part, which I think is going to be the more engaging part, is where we're going to be, just talking about it, hearing everybody's, sense about it, their opinion, and then, talk through. And as always, we always want to hear from our listeners to get their feedback. But before I start the show, come on, let me not forget. Let me introduce my brothers on the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Happy to be back. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to start counterclockwise today, starting from the top screen on my left here. My man, Eddie, yo.
All right. Thanks for that, Ray. Yo, fellas, this is episode 28, man.
Yes,
We're
sir.
started from the bottom. Now we're in episode 28, and always we appreciate our listeners. But I'm ready to begin this show. I'm very excited. It's going to get kind of deep. So stay tuned.
Yes, indeed. Moving on to my boy, Charlie T from the Sucker Free West Coast. Let's go.
Yeah. Man, I'm so excited because guess what, man? Guess what's coming up? We coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That is a milestone, man. So we episode 28.
Right.
So June 10th is our 1 year, man. So let's get this and let's just keep it popping, man.
Yep.
Well said, Chuck.
Yeah.
Last but not least, distinguished Manny. Let's go.
Fire. You already know Manny Fresh here.
Manny Fresh.
Very honored to be with you guys and our listeners. Excited to get it going, man. No more to say. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Great. All right, guys. So let's have this conversation. So, like I said at the top of the session, right? So this is something that everybody talks about lately, and what we've been going through with the last year and everything that's been happening in the pandemic just resonates even more, right? We've been through a lot. Some have been affected, tragically, and we feel for them. Some of us have been, healthy enough to understand, okay, what it really means and what we've been missing. So here we go. To live life to the fullest means to maximize your capacity to experience what life has to offer around you. It means making the most of what you have and never settling for less than the life you're capable of living. It means being truly alive and awake to life and not sleeping in life's waiting room. Wow. So, as you can guess, right, it's all in the title. It means live your life to the fullest, right? And with that said, as part of the first session, we want to get a take on what it truly means to all of our podcast brothers right here. And I'll start it off again, just like I did clockwise, right? The brother Eddie O. What does that really resonate when he says, live your life to the fullest?
Wow. To live my life. First of all, you said a lot. That's a very powerful quote statement. A lot of certain things resonate in my mind. And I'm going to start with, in order to live your life to the fullest, you need to understand yourself to the fullest. And you need to understand you first and put yourself first in a lot of things in order for you to live your life to the fullest, right? And then you can start appreciating the little things that allow you to live to the fullest, like your family, like relationships, like if you're eating a meal, enjoy each second and really come clean with what it is that makes you happy. Happiness is what we live for day by day, right? The other thing that came into my mind when you read that quote was to not fall for things that are going to make you feel negative. Don't surround yourself around negativity because it's not going to allow you to live your life to the fullest, right? And there's more things, but I want you to
keep you a little bit limited to your point, right?
Right. Yeah,
That's a
so
good
that's what I have for now, because I know this is gonna get a little juicy, and I
that's
don't
a
want to
good
throw
point.
everything out. So I want you to
That's
keep it rolling. Yeah,
You got to keep you got to hold you there. All right, thank you, thank you for that. So next, Charles. So, out of that, powerful statement, what's your take on that?
Well, first of all, that was a very powerful statement, and for me, man, it's just you can't take life for granted, because there was so much within this year that we lost and weren't able to do. So from now on, you just gotta grasp and take and run and just do everything that you want to do, because you wake up tomorrow and it may not be promised to you.
Exactly. That's one of the things that that it kind of says it a little bit, like tomorrow is never guaranteed, right? How many times have we heard that?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Tomorrow is never guaranteed. Somebody
Yes.
on this podcast kind of says it a lot, right? And actually, it's a good segue into our man Manny. What's your point of view on this one?
Thank you for that. Right? Well said, Chuck. So yeah, I always say tomorrow's promised to no one. I think in the group, I'm the one that is, for the most part, a little more outspoken. Not necessarily always the right thing that I say, but I open my mouth because I feel that, we've been given a gift, right? To be alive, right? And then, like our brother Chuck said, after going through COVID, right? It really, it reset me. I believe in, tomorrow not being promised to anyone, but more now than ever, right? I hug my daughter a little harder, right? I kiss my wife more. I'm more engaged in a lot of more things. And I hope I stay in this moment. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes things like this have to happen. And it kind of reminds us, the value that we're surrounded with, right? Whether it be family, whether it's someone as simple as the guy that pumps gas, an extra thank you, an extra eye contact, right? It's the little things in life, like you don't appreciate just looking outside the window. It's so, it sounds cliche, but it's really beautiful.
It's life.
It's life. Well said. Well said. And myself, I've given myself like what I consider to be my dream car. I live in my dream house. And I say it not to boast, but I come from a humble place because I've earned it and I'm enjoying it. Like if, God forbid tomorrow I'm not here, I can say that I pretty much reached that, And obviously I want to keep striving, but I feel really pretty complete. By the same token, that could be a little objective because someone's life doesn't necessarily have to be too complex. If you find peace and you're content, you're living life to the fullest, I think. So there's a lot of, there's two ways to look at it.
I mean, that's a great point.
You're living
that's
how
a great
you want
point.
to live.
Yeah.
Because, amazing point.
Yeah, because, with everything that's been so connected with life, with internet, TVs and everything else, and the fact that, we could see each other and we could communicate to each other at the same time, there's this like social scale or social status that, people are trying to achieve. And that could certainly, send the wrong signals and, wrong, maybe the wrong goals or maybe the wrong things. But yeah, I mean, that's a great point. So to me, what it means to me, if I could pivot back to me, is this.
Yeah, of course, I want to hear from you.
I've always been a person who's been, careful and planning and making sure that, the right things are there, the food, shelter, and, and everything else. And then, plan for retirement. And, with what we've gone through with COVID and, seeing that how you can easily lose something that you haven't planned for, right? Being taken away from you, right? So it made me think, and obviously with conversations from my brothers, Manny, you guys pushing me and telling me, listen, why, you'll never know if, the things that you're waiting for, that a little retirement, fund that you're saving, obviously that's going to be there.
Right.
But, take advantage of that and do something to even make it better, right? So I will sum it up to making sure that, yes, you continue to have, your safety net, but at the same time, enjoy what you have in front of you so that, you might never be there for that safety net to fruition. Right. So that's the one thing that I've, on top of what everybody else said, but to me, what resonated in this particular sentence is like, okay, it's time to truly understand what life, and don't let life pass by in front of you. but join into that journey, jump in, you know, and again, as not without a plan, not just all, you know, recklessly, but, you know, take life, enjoy life. It could be walking at a park. It could be looking at the stars. It doesn't always have to be something that you gotta, you know, has a financial tie to it. It could just be, you know, you want to play some more basketball like we did this past weekend. Let's go play some more basketball. Right? Let's have that experience, because at the end of the day, there's other things that come to that accompany those experiences that, you know, ignite others' feelings. Right, to your point, right? Is it peace? Is it happiness? Is it achieving some of the things that we wanted to get and you got it? And then that sense of achievement is good. Right. Now, yes, please, Eddie. Please.
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, I kind of want to chime in because you guys are all saying some amazing things. You know, it's all about what we have, and we have a lot, right? As soon as you wake up, and I know Manny speaks on this a lot, you know, as soon as you wake up, we have another chance to make things better, right? We have another opportunity to live another day. You know, already we're winners because we woke up, right? People take things for granted, like you say, right? Like having arms, like having legs, like being able to walk, like being able to see or hear or talk or taste or feel, right? Let me pose this question, right? How do you get to this place? How do you get to this place of understanding what you appreciate? Because we didn't always think like this, I would say, right? We didn't always think, you know, appreciate the little things in life, you know, you know, just love your family a little bit more, you know, hug your peoples, think about the future, but live today, think about yourself. We're all saying these type of things, but how do you talk a little bit about your journey on how you got to this thinking? And there's a part two. And is there anything that you're focusing on to make it even a little bit more powerful for yourself and living the moment and living today and appreciating life? Anyone could just jump in.
I'll take that. I'm sorry, Ray. I'll
no,
take that.
Go ahead.
Well, because, you know, for me, you know, listen, in 2012, I moved to the East Coast by myself, totally by myself, just not knowing where, you know, what was going to happen, how I was going to maneuver. But when I did that, I was thinking about myself and how I was going to make myself better in a different place. Right. So, and I figured that out, you know, you know, it over the years. Look, I met, you know, my brothers here, which I knew Ray already. And I met two more better brothers that, you know, encouraged, that always throw that encouragement out. But it all started with me making that first initial move on my own, just thinking it out, making sure that I was going to be okay first before, you know, thinking about, you know, how's my family going to be? So if you don't think about yourself first, like you said, and having that positive thinking about yourself, it's not going to work. You will never move forward if you don't put yourself first and knowing that you can strive to make yourself better versus helping someone else helping someone else be better.
So you would say that because you had to move, you were kind of forced to think about yourself and your priorities and what you live for.
Right. Because I really never did that before. It was always thinking about other people first, but then it was like, okay, this is me now, how I'm going to make myself better when I move to this place. So it happened.
So being that,
and if I real quick, so if I just want, so you see, Chuck is a living testament of what can happen when you talk about making yourself uncomfortable. First of all, 3,000 miles across, right? Yeah, it was for work, but at the same time, look what came out of it, right? This and the people that this brother has put together in the East Coast and West Coast is amazing. It's a whole different family connection because he had a thought and a decision to take that leap of faith, and he did.
There was something I want to add.
There was a second part to that question, Chuck, that I kind of want you to push on, because I said, is there anything that you're not working on, but is there anything that you feel that you might want to focus on more to make it more real? I mean, remember, we only have one life, right? YOLO, right? You only live once, and once it's gone, we're done. And you don't have another opportunity. That's why I say when we wake up, we have that other opportunity. So is there anything that you are giving more respect to, you know, as you're making yourself better and enjoying your life to the fullest?
Well, right now, man, because I do that, you know, not too many people know, I do have 2 grandkids, right? So, yes. Right, man. So that's it's like, right.
That's
so
the youngest granddaddy I ever know.
Right. So it's like, I had to get myself to a better place before I could, you know, reach out to my son to give him advice and then try to be in my grandkids' life, right? So that's something that I'm working on now to make it better for me, to move on and prosper. Because right now I'm happy, man. I have, my family here, nice home, and the thing, the love, that I have. It's like, so I want to pass that along to my next generation. So that for me, that's what it is. It's being able
to, wow.
You don't even know how powerful that statement was just
good
made.
Stuff, Chuck. Good stuff.
The next generation of okay. So I wanted to add something to what Charles said, but I wanted to go back to the original question of Eddie, right? Which was what I guess sequence of events got you to be to this place where you're starting to realize, right, how to fully enjoy life to its fullest. I would say, I think.
And what are your next steps?
And what are the next steps? Yes. What I would say is, I think, again, I think 2020 put a lot of things on the map, gave us a whole global reality check on things, not personally, but also from a society perspective, from an economic perspective, from a political perspective. Everything was just shaken to the core. And you started realizing, excuse my French, oh shit, this could be me, or this could happen to me.
Correct.
Right? Unfortunately, it happened to others. So then, because you have this sense of a little bit of a, not panic, not fear, but the realization that everything that you've worked for can be taken away right under your feet. Then you start to realize, okay, you know what? Let me just really figure out what I have to do to make sure that, okay, if I go tomorrow, to Manny's point, I go with no regrets. Right. Now, embarking in that mindset, if I go tomorrow, I'm going to be okay. It means that you got to check on family, check on things that were not done before. Place of rest. All of these things are going to be hard to digest. I'm starting to think about those things. Never thought about that in 2017 or 2018, 2019, right? Never thought about that. But these are the things that, hey, it gives you like a real, hey, listen, Santa, let's slow down a little bit. What are you doing? You have these things that you got to start thinking about. Again,
reality check.
Ray, can I interject for a second? Because maybe so, God forbid, if something was to happen to you and you weren't here tomorrow, do you not think your family would be okay? Meaning, do you feel like you have to take care of your family now, so when you're not here, they can be okay, or they're going to be taken care of anyway? And the reason I'm asking that is because living your life to the fullest doesn't always mean taking care of others, because then you're not living your life to the fullest. Now you're living somebody else's life to the fullest because you're trying to make them 100%. But I
am glad you brought that up.
Right. So,
because there's also a sense of to me, I call it selfish. It's selfishness, but it's not selfishness, because listen, it's time to make sure that I am okay. I'll go back to the things that I like, right? Like playing the guitar or things like that, right? Realizing that don't put those things that you used to enjoy aside, because it did pay dividends to you, meaning relaxation, meaning your mind, living life, learning another craft, which is what we did this entire, right? We all learned how to do this, right? Video editing, all of these things, right? So we never really held back. We said, what do we have to lose, right? So we went in, right? As a unit. Now, the second part of the question was, what would you do to continue and maintain, that you live your life to the fullest? Is again, right? Now, this is a part where it becomes a little bit more, scholar. Okay, you have a plan, and now right? You've had a taste of, okay, this is what I can do. I'm looking at that sentence where it says, it means being truly alive and awake to life, right? Awake to life, right? Truly, being like living in the moment. So, my plan has started. I'm going to keep going down that path. There's things that were more important before. I've rebalanced it, right? Career, life, family, friends, my time. So all of these things like, vision board, things like that. You really got to really start putting these things together so you could, it
works.
you got to have a plan. You got to have a
Right,
plan,
correct.
and you got to have discipline, and you got to have ways of doing that. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy. It means that you have to understand in order to get to a certain point. If it's getting that car that we talked about, then yes, you have to make those efforts to get there. If I have to, take budget from here so I could get that, then that's what you got to do, right?
Got it.
But it means that your sense of responsibility to enjoy your life to the fullest also has to come up as well.
Correct.
Got
Right?
Balance, right?
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
Yeah.
How
And by the way,
about
you stole my question
Ah,
when you said YOLO. You kind of stole it, but I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back.
how about you, Manny? Talk to us about your journey on how you got to get to this mindset, and what are you going to continue to do in order to kind of make sure that you fulfill you living life to the fullest? Is there anything contingent?
Yeah, I'll answer the first part. For me, I have an interest in reading, and to be quite honestly, not the traditional picking up a book and reading, because today's life is so fast. I do a lot of my audiobooks while I drive to work, or where I'm, going for a nice ride. I just pop a nice audiobook, Mr. Wayne Dyer, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's like my Bible. There's so many books out there that give you so much information. And quite honestly, when I first started doing it, it was kind of boring, but this gentleman that I kind of looked up to way back when, he put me onto that kind of mentality. And I have a passion for that. And I just think a lot of the things that, I don't agree with everything that I read. Let me make sure that that's clear. But a lot of the things that are out there is so much powerful. And when you put it to practice, it's like magic and it works. And, for the effort that I put in listening, what I get from that pretty much for free, if you think about it, like the knowledge that I acquire and I put it to practice in my own life and family, and I try it. They don't even know I'm trying it. And like magic, it works, It's unbelievable. And it always throws me back. And I love to share it. Sometimes I share too much where guys, all right, man, you're right about life. But I'm just passionate about it. And I really, really, like when I'm hanging out with you guys, I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. I don't know if anybody in the group enjoys it more than me. And you see how I get sometimes, but that's out of love. And because I believe so much in living in the moment, right? But there's always a certain ceiling that you have to, right? Because you can't go crazy either. But to answer your question, reading a lot of books and just listening to wise people, I guess. What was the other part of the question?
No, I guess the other part of his question was, is there anything that you feel like you want to work on more so you can enjoy more life? Just something that you realize, well, I need to do something else more so I can get, the best of living.
Sure. I would say travel. Not a lot of times, for many years, I put so much work into, the house and this and that and acquiring. But traveling, I think that's something that I really want to get into. Seeing the world, as I get a little older, I realize that I really haven't been to too many places. And I think that's an amazing thing to do. Just travel and see different cultures and engage with different groups of, styles of life and things like that, of that nature.
Oh, cool. You guys are saying some powerful things. Do you guys mind if I kind of throw my little answer in there?
Nah, man, you have to.
So as you guys are talking, you guys are waking me up, and and I'm trying to think of what was my journey. And I honestly feel that my journey began as soon as I was born, right? It wasn't a one moment thing that helped me realize, wow, I need to do something more. I'm into the people business. I love to see people do good. I love to talk to people. I love to give time to people and listen to them so they can feel good inside of them. And that really fulfills me. I really feel like my purpose here is almost like a happiness spreader, like a person that makes things easier for people. I love to see kids learning how to walk, and I see dogs just walking, and I enjoy those things. I enjoy looking at babies. And there isn't a baby that passes me by and I don't smile. Like even the parents are like, "Why are you looking at my baby?" I'm like, I just enjoy life. It gives me great fulfillment. When I'm teaching students and you know, and I make that connection, or they'll come to me with something personal. I'm like, wow, that's pretty deep. And they actually came to me. They trusted me to speak to me. I feel like I'm spreading a lot of love. So I live for love. You know, it isn't money. It isn't.
Say that again.
I live for love. I live for love. Because at the end, you know, if I wasn't born with it, then I don't probably need it. You know,
you're getting too. That's this guy's dropping nuggets, dude.
And then needless to say, I could definitely, you know, needless to say, I love each and every one of you brothers, and I enjoy you guys individually, as a group, in the masses. You know what I'm saying, or not, you know, and if I'm not genuine to the people that I speak to, I feel like I'm failing myself, because then I'm a fraud to that person. And that's the last thing I ever want to be in this world. I need to be as true as I want to be, as I could be, without leading fake assumptions of anything, or, you know, but I would definitely say that life makes me happy, man. Just living and appreciating the little things, you know. The last little thing I'm going to say is I know, you know, some of our listeners are like, hey, you can't be so positive, because I know there's people that, you know, you talk this positive stuff and you're like, look, but try to see it another way. Try to think about how the other person's thinking. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Always think about what is that person coming from, and maybe you'll understand people a little bit better. And then your selfishness of maybe you want to get angry. Oh, look what this person did, but you don't know why they did that. Right. Always think of the why, and it'll help alleviate maybe your questioning, your anger, your sad feeling, your upset feeling. Whether you're in a relationship, you know, romantic relationship, whether it's a parent relationship, things aren't always as smooth. Don't get me wrong. I go through it with my daughter, you know, but at some point we come to our senses. I'm like, look, man, we love each other, and there's nothing big. That's all we need is the love. So we should be able to always communicate, and with the love, make things right.
So
you know, yeah.
So Eddie, how would you combat the images and impressions that are left on our kids when they watch you know, these social media videos where it's nothing but splurging on, you know, fun activities, and then, you know, you have that, you use that term, you only live once, right? But it could be interpreted as, you know, do everything that you want to do, regardless of if it's good or bad, because at the end of the day, you know, you're going to go anyway. So why not indulge in, you know, some of these maybe illicit things or whatever it is? So how would you kind of temper that down and kind of have the right message to because you do that every day, right?
Look, so, dude, you would think you were in my house yesterday. I had a long conversation with my daughter. I'm like, man, you must have been here somewhere. You know what my answer to that, Ray, is? And that's an awesome question, because I think I asked those things to myself. But I realized that I can only do what I can do with what I know. If I ended up being like this, that's because my parents and everybody around me did what they could have done, but I became who I became. So at some point I have to detach and let an individual be an individual, whether I love them with all my heart or, you know, whoever they are, it doesn't matter. People have to go through their own journeys. Yes. But I think the core teachings are really in there just through your actions, through your words, through your movements, through your time, through your experiences. At some point they land, and then they have a podcast like us and they start talking about what's your journey, right? Right. So think about it. So I'm learning that though, Ray. I am learning. Don't go so deep into that, because like what I'm saying, like, for example, with my daughter, not that I'm not going to be in her life, but I can't worry so much about those things, because those things are going to exist anyway. Right. I just have to keep on moving the way I move, and, you know, and eventually, you know, things come around, and that'll be my daughter's experience. And hopefully she tells a good story and she becomes that person, you know, but I can't control everything. I can't.
So everybody has to go through their own journey, their own.
Correct.
They have to, they have to, you know, go through the bad times, the good times, the splurging and the non-splurging, and knowing if you could do this or not. But that's all just part of life. And if you don't go through it, something's wrong.
So let me ask you this question then. I'm sorry.
And make mistakes, right?
So how
let people
would you
make their own mistakes, right? Let them fall.
so both of you, right? Because you guys are both. This question is for you both, right? Charlie and Eddie, right? So how would you explain this topic to your kids today, right? Like what we talk about, like what would you say if you tell them, listen, at some point in time, you have to detach yourself a little bit, let them have their, blaze their own path and everything else. Like, what would be the way you say you want to tell them live your life to the fullest, right?
Yeah.
But is there a but?
But
before you guys answer, I think the way that question is almost like being a parent all the time, because you want them to have the best, live your life to the fullest. But as a parent, you always got to tell them, yeah, live your life, but within certain parameters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Doesn't mean right. Go ahead.
Right. So what I was about to say on it is like, be safe, think smart, don't let no one like influence you. Right. Do what you want to do, but just like I said, just be smart about it. And I think that's the biggest thing, because you're gonna fall no matter what you do, and you're gonna pick yourself up. Hopefully you have someone around you like us, or like a friend or a parent that's gonna help you, not force you, but help you to understand why you failed.
You hit it right on the nail, Chuck. You hit it right on the nail. I'm sorry, I want to jump in there because you are so on point, right? Because who else other than a parent knows the full potential of their child,
right? At
a certain point, right? Then, of course, when they go to school and everything else, and they start developing some kind of skill, then you have a teacher, then that other person could come in and say, you know what, I think your child is actually talented in this, and they should pursue, right? So those are the other entries where you have people in their life that are saying, okay, these are some of the qualities that you can push, right? Mm-hmm. But there's also others, right? Obviously,
because remember, they are a product of you and what you instill, right? We got to go back to that word from.
That's right. Yep. Bring it back. That's right.
what you instill in them, they're gonna remember everything that you told them, but they may not follow everything, but they will remember.
Right.
So
that's a great point. I'm gonna say just two things real quick. Remind me to come back to tough love, right? I'm gonna say half the times my parents didn't know where I was when I went out. I did certain things, but I learned, and my core was my home, and there were conversations. So no matter what I did out there, I always came home to these grounded people, which is another thing I'm grateful for, right? Not everybody has that. Not everybody has a person that teaches them and takes time. Some people are going through their own problems and probably may not be able to teach their offsprings, but that's so let me go back to tough love.
But let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, right? I know you want to say tough love. I just want to bring it back, right? Again, we're talking about, right? Live your life to the fullest, because tomorrow is never promised to anyone, right? So
right.
Let's make sure we tie it back to that particular topic again.
But your question was not about that. Your question was about what would I tell my child if I was talking about this? But it has to do with my understanding of living your life to the fullest. So you live your life, but you live your life and end up in a good place, so you can understand what it is to live your life as to the fullest. That's what I'm thinking. Does that make sense? All right. So what I was saying about tough love is sometimes parenting could be a little cruel. It feels a little cruel, but you got to let your children fall. Even a baby, right? Let them fall, let them scrape their knee, let them get up and understand that if they do that, they're going to get hurt. So sometimes you got to let them go and let them go through experiences so they can then eventually say, I appreciate certain things in life, and they can start living their life to the fullest. Right? So that's my piece on that. Yeah. Manny, how about you?
Makes sense. How about me? What?
How about
you wanted to go.
So in other words, Manny, right?
Yes.
You're saying use your time wisely.
Yes.
Right? Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Oh man, I live by time is our biggest commodity. I always give this little thing, right? I've heard it somewhere. They say that if you were to get $86,400 a day, but the catch is that you got to spend it by midnight, what would you do? And I give it to you every day, but by midnight you have to spend it. What would you do, right? You're like, oh man, I'll buy a car. The next day I give you $86,400. And we're so quick to say, right? Oh yeah, I'll capitalize on the whole 86,400. But if you think about it, that's what we get every day, 86,400 seconds. But yeah, we sit, watch Netflix. I'll do it tomorrow.
That's powerful.
You're burning time. You put so much power to money, but time, I'll just sit down here. And if you think about it, it's like, damn, we're just throwing it out the window. It's time that you could get up, call that friend, make amends, right? Say I'm sorry, take a walk, right? A lot of times we just sit down because we can't, and our body wants to just lay low and kind of just take it easy. But I think time is very important, man. We got to capitalize it and use it to the max. I practice it a lot. I catch myself sometimes being lazy on certain things, but something clicks and I'm like, nah. I call my boy Chuck. Chuck, what are you doing? Let's go get a beer, or let me I pick up with the family. Let's go on Sunday. Went to the beach, 11 o'clock. If you live in Jersey, you know what it is to be in the Garden State at 11 o'clock in the morning. You give me props. So we had a great time. 3 or 4 hours on the beach. Turned out to be a great day, great experience. Memories that my kid and I can talk for the rest of our lives on one spontaneous decision. Instead of sitting in the back or a cold one, I said, let's go to the beach. But Dad, it's too late. No, now I have pictures, now I have a video. Now she owes me, man. That check was
you guys, that's funny because you guys know Nas, right? The rapper. He uses this line and he says, and this is what it is to waste time. Some people just want to sleep their life away and just sleep and sleep. And he says this, he says, sleep is the cousin of death. Think about that for a second.
Wow.
So get up, because eventually when you die, that's forever. When you're alive, that's temporarily, right? Until you die. So I thought that's the kind of deep line. And that's what you're saying. So utilize your time, utilize your time and use it.
Eddie, along the same, real quick, right? Along the same line, right? Most people work 9 to 5, right? 24 hours in a day. If you work a 9 to 5, right? You usually 1 hour to get ready, 1 hour to get home on a really rigid schedule. So right there is 10 hours. You're sleeping for 8. So there goes 18. How much do you have left? 4 hours? So what are you really doing with 4 hours? Maybe you have dinner. Yep. Someone's distracting you. Where's your time going? Think about it. We don't see it that way. But no, I have to go to work because work is work. No, if you use your mind to get creative and find another angle, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not trying to be insensitive.
No, and I think that's a great way to kind of like, bring back the show, kind of summarize it, right? Because, you're right. Time is what we have. Time is free. We don't pay for time.
Somebody wants the time right now.
Time is free. We don't pay for it. But, every day we just lose a day of that time, a second of the time. So it's just a matter. So it really is come down to a couple of things in my mind, right? Is you got to monopolize time. You got to understand what time really means to you. It's treat it like money, as you said, right? Treat it wisely, but at the same time, also find other, and I'm bringing it back to Eddie, other things that makes you, that fulfill you.
Correct.
Whether it's going to be happiness, whether it's showing love, getting love, helping others, anything that makes you a better person and puts you in the right state of mind, right?
Yes,
it doesn't all like we say, it doesn't have to be something of a financial gain. It could be a great job that you've always wanted, or change your career path, right? Just pivot what you're looking into life, right? Chuck, you said family, right? You have your next generation. So meaning that you want to invest more time in making sure that you experience the joy of having a little picnic, which is a word for baby, right? In your arms, sure. Because what that brings back memories, which many you mentioned, but also brings joy and happiness, right? So in a way, right? So live your life to the fullest could mean a lot of things, but there's some core concept to always take in mind. Mind your time. Be treat it as with a lot of care. Just don't ignore it.
Be conscious.
Find your core, find your happiness, find what makes you, as our brother Eddie said, right? And then for me is, plan the time just to make sure that, you don't push it all the way to the back where at some point in time you may not be able to enjoy it. Just like rejuggle certain priorities, certain timelines, so just so that you can live in the moment and you don't live to plan for 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line. You know, we know that we go to work, we work for 30, 40 years, go for retirement. By the time we think we're going to get that retirement money, you're gone, or you're not going to be there to enjoy it.
If not before, right?
No, listen, that's another thing that you bring up, Manny, right? Just look how you're valued at a corporation when you spend 30 to 35 years there, right? They give you a watch or they give you something else, right? A watch that you could probably, you know.
Easy.
Right? So, I mean, this was a great conversation, fellas. I truly enjoyed. There's a lot more that we could go through. Eddie, I see you. Take it away.
I just have 3 words. I just have 3 words. No, I just have 3 words just to add on to that list. Do not settle. Don't settle. Don't negotiate your happiness. Don't settle. Don't give your happiness to somebody else.
That's right.
If that other person's your happiness, then happy away. But if you're in a relationship or if you're in a situation, it could be a job. It could be a relationship. It could be whatever it is. Don't settle, because then you're putting yourself aside as if you're not as important as the person that you're making happy. Bottom line.
Truth be told, if it hasn't gotten straight in the last 5 years, it's not gonna get straight. Hoping, wishing on a star. Make a move and take that leap. You're gonna cry, but you know what? It's a lot of African tissue. You're gonna be all right. Shake it off and you keep it moving. I'm telling you, we've all been through things, man. Life gets better. There's a lot. Live your best life now. And I'll leave you with this. My man, Peter Baker, rest in peace. He always said, "You can only take with you what you give away." At the end of the day.
I tell you, this is my saying to myself: you are your best company. If you can't enjoy being by yourself, you can't enjoy being with anybody. You know what I mean? Because I enjoy going out. I could sit out and go to the movies, have dinner, and do anything by myself and enjoy it and be happy.
Yep.
Like I was out with my boys. So remember, if you can't, you are your best company. If you can't be happy and enjoy yourself, you might as well give it up.
Is that why you don't call me anymore?
Yep. No.
I know, I'm just kidding.
No.
Since we're in the spirit of sharing things, right? There's you guys know there's people use tricks and methods to keep their mind focused. So I have 2 stickies that I always look in front of me, right? Okay, right. This one says there's 3 points on there. This one says, remember why you are doing this for. Number 2, remember who you are doing it for. Number 3, review how you are doing it, right? And then the other one was manage dollars and manage time, right? So these are some of the visual aids I have in front of me that kind of help me, kind of level head myself. Only if I'm sitting here, obviously. If I'm sitting on the couch, I don't see these signs. Right?
Tattoo it.
But bottom line is, like, always have something going. It could be stickers, it could be something, but always have like a ritual to say, hey, listen, but definitely always, to me, I think personally, is checkpoint, right? How are we doing?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
What's that?
I mean,
Wow,
this
that
was
was
fun,
pretty
man.
good, fellas.
That was
Yes,
good, man.
yes.
Hey.
Thanks for
You guys are
all those
warm.
words. As always,
sir, man.
enjoy these moments, these sessions. We'll keep educating ourselves. I know I'm always learning when I've talked to you guys. I'm on these sessions. We always gotta, the facts that we talk about are always, we're always doing our research, by the way, guys. We never, bring something and then, we always check it up, we do fact checking and everything else. So it's very, 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 you could trust our words. A lot of it is coming from here.
It's all personal.
Right?
It's all personal. Yeah.
So I'll leave you with that. So everybody have a great night. Thank you for the session.
United Podcast.
United Podcast.
Subscribe.
Knowledge with Borders.